Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into human cloning. It's a topic that's, well, packed with science, big ethical questions, and frankly, some pretty out there ideas.
It really is, and we're drawing mainly from Kadir Kubashik's work, Human Cloning and Ethics.
Right. It lays out the scientific journey, the ethical debates, and, yeah, the speculation. And it all seems to pivot around one moment, doesn't it?
Dolly the sheep, 1996. That announcement, it really lit the fuse.
Before that, cloning humans felt like pure science fiction.
Exactly. Dolly made it suddenly seem possible. Maybe not immediate, but possible. And that immediately brought the ethics front and center.
Okay, so let's touch on the science first. Dolly, that was the Roslin Institute, right? Using SCNT.
Correct. Somatic cell nuclear transfer. Essentially, taking the genetic core, the nucleus, from an adult body cell.
Like a skin cell or something.
Could be, yeah, and putting it into an egg cell that had its own nucleus removed.
Kind of like tricking the egg into thinking it was fertilized.
That's a good way to put it. The key was showing you could take a specialized adult cell and, well, reset it, make it capable of forming a whole new organism, genetically identical to the donor.
Wow. And that wasn't just about making copies, was it? It spurred on a lot more.
Oh, absolutely. It accelerated everything, research into embryonic stem cells, gene editing, manipulating DNA, the works.
Which obviously leads to the big question, what about humans? The source material says, research on human cells has happened, but no confirmed human clone, publicly anyway.
That publicly confirmed part is crucial. The techniques have advanced, no doubt. Cellular manipulation is pretty sophisticated now.
But going from cells to a whole person, that's the step we haven't seen confirmed.
Not in the open scientific literature, no. And that brings us right up against the ethical and religious viewpoints.
Yeah, the text mentions the Vatican's reaction pretty early on, back in 97. Strong opposition.
Very strong. Their arguments centered on, well, human nature itself, the sanctity of life, individual identity. They saw cloning as fundamentally conflicting with those core ideas.
And those views, they weren't just opinions, right? They actually influenced laws.
Definitely. Many countries quickly put up legal barriers, strict limits, even outright bans on human cloning research. These ethical concerns had real-world impact.
What were the main worries, specifically? The document mentions a few key things.
Well, the big ones are things like the potential damage to a person's sense of individuality. If you're a copy, who are you?
Yeah, that's heavy.
And then there's the risk of genetic discrimination, creating hierarchies based on genes. Plus, just defining the rights of a cloned individual.
Yeah.
It gets complicated fast.
It really challenges basic societal structures, doesn't it?
It does, which leads into this whole issue of transparency versus secrecy in science.
Right. We have international agreements, oversight bodies.
Yeah.
Trying to keep research ethical.
Sure. But the document points out the challenge. What about research that happens, off the books? Military projects, maybe, or things just kept under wraps?
And that's where the speculation comes in, I guess. The source talks about these, well, assumptions or rumors.
Mm-hmm. Like the idea that human cloning experiments are happening secretly. Or even that claim, and it's flagged as speculation, mind you, about lab-designed humans already being out there.
Wow. Okay. And the author, Kubashuk, actually offers a personal take on this.
He does. He explicitly states it's not based on hard data, but his opinion is that the research never really stopped. And he even speculates that some humanoid clones might already exist.
So not scientifically proven, but highlighting that anxiety about what we don't know.
Exactly. It underlines the whole secrecy concern.
Okay, so let's recap. Dolly was the turning point. Made human cloning a real scientific and ethical issue.
Right. And today, it's still technically challenging and morally debated everywhere.
We don't have public proof of human clones.
Correct. But there's this understanding, this sort of background hum, that science isn't always fully transparent.
So we need to watch developments carefully from all angles: science, ethics, society.
Precisely. It's a moving target with the added layer of potential hidden research.
So here's something to think about for you listening. If the ethics are so tricky and some research might be happening in secret, what's our responsibility? How do we grapple with the future of genetics, things like cloning, even if we don't have all the facts out in the open?